Welcome. I'm getting a break from my electronics. I've been really lax on doing electronic stuff. So I decided, because I'm procrastinating and doing game playing more, that I might do some game videos. In particular, I'm doing Elite and Dangerous. And in particular, I am going to go over some stuff I think are talked about vaguely and could use some more detail for newbies that are first starting the game that might help them. So, first thing first, by default, the game will run with either keyboard mouse or what they call HOTAS. Um, Older people will know them as joysticks, but they're not the joysticks of your elder grandfather's era. They are modern Halo effect controlled joysticks. The reason for the HOTAS term. Older joysticks, if you had one from, like, say, the Apple era or the early PC era, they were analog joysticks. They literally had potentiometers in them. When you moved the stick, it rolled the potentiometer and it read a value. Um, Later, they converted them to be, instead of a joystick port, to be USB. But internally, those joysticks still were some form of sensor. Some of them had an optical tracker, like they would track by optics the movement of the joystick. Um, these newer ones are more sensitive by far, and they've basically taken over. So if you're doing keyboard and mouse, you'll find most of your keyboarding is needed to do thrusters and other things like this, or to use the menus, or to basically do anything, because the average mouse doesn't have enough buttons to do all of it. I know there's gaming mice, and I don't use them. My mouse of choice is a Marble. So I know on this one that if I move the Marble, let's see my mouse? Yeah, okay. So if I move the mouse left, right, like this, to the game, that would be yaw or roll, depending how it's programmed. I think by default it was on roll, and if I go up and down, it was pitch. Sometimes some of the stuff is in multi-setup mode, like meaning it's context sensitive. So if I'm in these menus right here, it does the menus like you expect. But if I'm out in my ship, it actually does pitch and roll. Now there's an option in the thing to mix roll with yaw. But in keyboard control, usually it's over on the ASD keys or whatever. After a while, you'll find that, like anyone else who plays any of these games, including flight simulators, you'll want to get a HOTAS or a joystick. So the first joystick I picked up was doink, this guy right here, the Thrustmaster X HOTAS. This joystick isn't bad. Here's the actual joystick. You have your throttle. You have your joystick. There's a lot of buttons on there. There's a little hatty thing here. There's a set of levers here. There's some buttons on the side and on the front. A couple on the top right here, and there's a couple over here. Right? The only problem with this one, this style of joystick operates with a neutral throttle in the middle, like so. So there's a spot right here where it sticks, right? And there's not enough. You'll find later, like most users, there's not enough buttons, period, to do everything you want to do. You're still doing a lot on the keyboard. By the way, the throttle on that can disengage from the joystick base, so they could be separated. So after I used that one for a little while, I wanted more buttons. So I ended up getting, with a lot of recommendation on the net, is this one. How about that? Okay, so this is the T1600 with the throttle with it. Now the first joystick's about 65 bucks or so, 70 bucks on Amazon in Canada. And the second joystick's about 130 in Canada. Your country will vary, right? Now, this joystick, as you can see, has lots of buttons. So there's a whole series here. There's a whole, whoops, try the other hand. Whole series here, right? You got your main shooting button, but the top here has a little 8 position. There's 3 here. And the thing lights up too when you move it. Now, when you're in the menus of this game, this joystick also works. So I'm going to go in here, and if I click the little hat on top of the joystick like this, I can move around also in here. I really don't need the mouse. I just find the mouse more convenient because the joystick treats the movement like a grid. So if I want to go from over here, the crew lounge, and I want to go all the way over to outfitting, I have to do 2 clicks. Whereas the mouse, I just go crew lounge, outfitting. You get the idea. Now the throttle on this one is different than the other throttle. And I'm caught up on my microphone cord here. Okay. So this throttle is not center based. It goes all the way like so. And there's no middle road in it. But it has its usual levers, but it has way more features on it. You can see that all the stuff along here. There's 2 buttons. There's a miniature joystick right here. There's an up and down button right here. On the side here, you've got another 8-point hub. You've got another kind of pseudo switchy hub. Another switchy thing. I don't use this feature here, which is another rolling wheel. Just like on the main joystick, there is also right on the front, a slider lever. I haven't got those mapped to anything in particular. Let me put that there. Okay. So there is a tool out there. And let me just get the web link set up. And here we go. Control C. Put it in the right browser. Yes, there is a wrong browser and there's a right browser. Okay. So let me turn on the web browser for you so you can see what I'm looking at. Okay. This guy right here will build you a graphical map of your joystick layout. So we are going to do it right now with my own joystick so I can show you what it's going to look like. So let me bring mine up here. I'm going to go choose a file. And I have to go find the game files. Where was it? Elite and Dangerous. I need to find the control file for it. It's like documents, my documents. Elite and Dangerous. It's in here somewhere. I think. Where was it again? They usually tell you where it is. Oh, Frontier Development. Sorry. Nope, not in there. Where is it? Local directory, local app directory, Frontier Development. Oh, I know what it is. There is no consistency where things get stored. So we need to find me, and we need to find this directory here. Damn, I hate that when it does that. Local app. Oh, okay, I know what it's going. So there's like 3 different places you can find game files. Not here. not here. I need local Frontier, and there it is, Frontier Developments, Elite and Dangerous, and then we need to find options bindings. So options bindings. Okay, found it. So you'll find in this directory, let me see if I can add it to here. Add another, in another game, capture and file explorer, and capture a specific window, and the window is going to be now let's capture Pacific. No, that. See, this is what I don't like about the OBS in Windows. You can't pick a specific window easily. I don't want to match title. Try this. Screw it. I'll have to figure this one out later. Anyway, I found the file, so I am going to load it up. There is 3 binds files. I use the custom 3.0 binds. I think this because of generation of Elite. So you can see right there, I've loaded the binds file I want. And then I scroll down, I say, yeah, and I say generate reference card. And there you go. Complete layout of my thing, where all my buttons mean, what everything is programmed for. Now I've done some tweaks to it. I didn't like, I wasn't doing any fleet things, or what they called, you know, where 3 or 4 people get together to do mining or whatever. So I changed, I've changed the wingman sets to next fire group, previous fire group, HUD mode. That's that set of buttons on the side of the throttle. You can feel them with like the 4 little sticks stick out just above the orange, right here. Can you actually see my cursor on the, yeah, you can. Okay, so that orange button, so this guy right here I changed, which is this block. I also adjusted my 2 sets of 6 buttons right here. I added next jump destination, previous subsystem, next subsystem. They're in there, but I also found out that one of my other controls here, I find that I'm not using this correctly. I might remap this out to one of these guys up here. So I'm still learning that part. But otherwise, everything else is about the same. I did turn night vision over here. You're not seeing everything, so let me just stretch this window out a little bit. There we go. So right here, night vision. Landing gear, cargo scoop, of course. This is where I'm getting at that some of this stuff has multiples. When you see this here, it says enter FSS, handbrake, and exit FSS. That means this button does 2 different things. Or this one down here, vertical thruster, store toggle preview, boost, and galaxy map Z hold. It does 4 different things depending which screen you're actually in. Okay, so this is a very handy tool to use. I'm just going to turn off the Explorer for a sec. We don't need Chrome. Okay, so I'm going to just exit this station. Now, stations come in really three types. Really big ones with shipyards and everything. Small little outposts. These are all the orbital stations. And then there's this type of station you'll see in your starter area. It's an asteroid. Yep. An asteroid. So, we're going to launch and we're going to go out and have a look at the things that you need to know about flying. This is where the auto launch is what I use because I'm crappy at this. So, ta-da, it lines it up. Now, sometimes I've had the bug in here in these big stations where I've come into land and there's a ship on my platform and I get penalized for some idiot hogging my space. Also, I've had the thing where I've launched and someone's launched underneath me and forced me into the ceiling. At least I don't get penalized for that, but it's annoying. Okay. So I'm going to go just out a little bit so that we have some room to maneuver. Okay. This game refers to what they call 6 axes of control. Now, you have to go back to elementary school. Remember our basic geometry stuff. So, going across the screen is the x-axis. Going up and down the screen is the y-axis. Going from you outward is the z-axis. So, those are 3 of the axes you'll reference. Now, yaw is based off of moving on the x-axis, and it's usually tied to your joystick's twist. So, if I twist to the left, I go to the left. If I twist to the right, I go to the right. That is referred to as yaw. Okay. If I pull the stick up, that's pitch. If I push the stick down, going down, that's also pitch. So pitch is on the y-axis. Okay. Throttle is really your z-axis. Now, this particular throttle has a button for doing forward and reverse, whereas the other throttle starts out in the middle. So when you push that throttle forward, you go forward. If you bring the throttle all the way to the back, you go in reverse. This one doesn't do that. So I go forward like this. I'm going forward. I click the button, and now I start going backwards at the same speed I was going forward at. Like so. Bringing the throttle quite all the way to the back there, 0, brings you to a dead stop. Now, there's 3 more things to know. Okay, so we've done X, Y, and Z, but along each one of those axes is rotation around that axis. So when you do the Z-axis, for example, right? If you move your joystick to the left, you're rolling around the Z-axis. In this case, counterclockwise. You roll to the right, it's counterclockwise. Okay? So you have to remember that each one of those X, Y, and Z also has a rolling feature around it. Now, there isn't really a set of controls that roll you around the Y, right? But if you combine, of course, pitch and yaw at the same time, like this, we're actually spiraling around an axis. Now you're wondering how I straighten out so fast and come to... Well, this game has 2 modes, and one of them is raw Newtonian physics. And be prepared for this, because this will drive you nuts if you're not ready for it. It means that when we go and take off, assist off, and we move, we continue moving. I've taken my hand off the joystick, but I'm still pitching up and up and up. I won't stop. I'll keep going. It's Newtonian physics. So if I... See? I'm bouncing around. I'm also shifting slightly to the left now because I did. Now I'll put the assist back on and I lock back again. So you're going to find that sometimes you need the Newtonian physics, but other times it will drive you completely bonkers. So if you're trying to dock manually, and this happened to me when I first bought the game way back when it first came out, and I got very frustrated with the game because I could not dock a ship worth a damn. I could never get it, and I had trouble finding the entrance. I had trouble circling it because there was no flight assist at that time that I know of, or I didn't find it. And I was in Newtonian physics, and believe me, it's real painful. The other thing that they don't explain clearly, the entrance to the docks. Guess what? They generally face the planet. So if you're trying to figure out where the entrance is, it's planet side of the station. Now, the little stations that are open to space, the docks are any which way, and they can be not even near a planet. But these big stations, it's always pointing to the planet. Okay. Now, let's look at the options a little bit for programming everything. So if we go into the escape and we go into options, controls, you'll see there's a whole pile of controls you can mess with. Mouse controls, flight rotation, etc., etc. Now, mouse controls are really for keyboard and mouse. I rarely go. The only thing I go in here for is use the mouse widget. That's that little round circle in the center of the HUD. That's what that does. Okay, but the mouse power curve deals with how sensitive things can be, in a sense that when it starts to really like an acceleration factor, you can play with all this stuff if you're on a mouse. But once you go to HOTAS, you just ignore all that. I think in flight rotation, yeah, I don't even bother anything with it. Flight thrust. In this case, we have, as I said, joy axis, lateral thrust, vertical thrust. Now, these joy x-axis are not the joystick itself. They're actually on the throttle. That little mini joystick that's in the front on the throttle. Let me bring this up again for you. So you see this guy right here. Oops. Let me click on the browser again. And because my cursor is not showing up. See this little button right here? That guy right there is your thrusters. Right there. Now, one thing you have to be careful on these thrusters, it doubles up as your free view. And if you press the thruster, it's a button also. I will demonstrate too. But it's not straight up. It's at a slight, the whole axis on the thing is at a slight angle. So you actually pull a little up to the left to be up, a little down to the right to be down. You'll see this when you start using it. You'll get used to it. Let's see, alternate flight controls. We don't care. Flight throttle. This is the shifty thing I use. I showed you. Now, this here, forward only. You can change this. If you do, I haven't played with full range. I have it just on forward only. Also, I have the, they invert the axis on this. Oh, if you're used to flying airplane simulators, there is some people prefer when they push the stick down or pull the stick up, it's in reverse of what it does. So pushing the stick down, they go up, and pushing the stick back, they go down. Right? That is what really happens with this invert right here. You can set up preset speeds. I really, really want in here, I wish they would add, is the ability that you have a custom speed. Because if you're doing cargo scooping, it's really neat to have a hotkey that just automatically puts you at 15 meters per second or 20 meters per second. This is actually based off your overall speed, so that's what the percentage. So if you're minus 50% speed and you're going 400 meters per second, you become 200 meters per second. So it's variable to the ship you're in and stuff. I haven't messed, as I said, I haven't messed with this section here. There is a way I can make this sliding throttle to be middle oriented, where I have to keep it in the middle to be 0, blah, blah, blah. But I'm getting used to not using it that way, so I'm not going to touch it. I never touched any of the flight landing overrides, flight miscellaneous, Super Cruise, and toggled orbital lines. Super Cruise, yes, I tied to a frickin' button. So that little button that's in the front, let's bring Chrome back up again. And I'll click on Chrome. Now, on the back side, this button right here, right? You can see I've programmed it to Hypercruise and Super Cruise. I push down and I get into Super Cruise. I push up and get into hyperspace. And tone Chrome off again. There we go. So that's that I do. I've never messed with the rotational or correction. This is for if you're not in auto docking mode or anything like that, but you do want a little bit of assistance with those space stations. This helps you line it up with what they affectionately call the bread slot. That's that thing right in the front of the station. It looks like you shove a slice of bread in. Literally. Okay, targeting. The big ones, of course, is on this particular joystick. It's what's on the main handle. So let's bring Chrome back up again. And let me click on Chrome. So this stuff right in here. So you see the target ahead. You see the handbrake on the right side. The very bottom is actually button 2. So this is button 1. This is button 2. Then 3. Then 4. Like so. There is a page. I can't remember if it's on Thrustmaster site or whatever. Instead of showing you what all the programming is, it shows you what all the buttons numbers are. So you know that, oh, this is button 16 or this is button 12 or whatever, right? It actually tells you. I don't have it handy, but I came across it. I could probably dig it up again if I have to. So Chrome off again. Okay. So I've got, target ahead, target back, right? This Joy 8, 10, 7, 6, that's mapped to the throttle sides buttons. So I undid the Wingman ones. I'm not even using it, right? I've only left this one there, but I could actually program it for something else. Whoops, got to click. This next previous cycle system, that's almost a set of buttons on the front. I'm thinking of moving these because it forces one to get your hands off the throttle to do the subsystem targeting. I want the subsystem targeting closer to the fingers on the throttle. So I'm looking at moving those. Weapons, primary fire, secondary fire, cycle fire groups. I moved those from keyboard to the throttle so I can actually switch through fire groups. This is more handy on mining than it is on battle. Cooling, deploy the heatsink. I don't know which button that is. You just have to look up the chart. Mission. Okay, I don't have ship's lights thing, but I do have night vision. I don't know if it's in here. This divert power stuff here is really the hat upstairs. I'll show you in a bit. Cargo scoop I tied to the joystick. Landing gear, of course. There, night vision, Joy 15. So I click a button on the right side of my joystick. There's 6 buttons. Forward 3, back 3. The back middle of the 3 is my night vision. That's very handy if you're in the dark and you want to see what you're trying to approach. I mean, space is dark. Okay? You can do some fiddling with the interface if you want, or the modes, blah, blah, blah. I didn't do much in there. Galaxy Mac. Driving we'll get to when I do SRV stuff. I did a bunch of tweaking in there to get it right. I haven't messed with multi-crew fighter crews. The free camera, I did assign a hotkey, I believe, to it. Can't remember how I turned it on and off. I'll have to remember how. Store camera, I don't mess with. Hollow Me, I'm not even sure what the heck that steely thing is. I think that's your character in a, kind of like a portrait pose thing. I don't know. Playlist is the inbuilt Galnet radio system. The full spectrum system scanner, known as FSS, and the detailed surface scanner, known as DSS. Now, these used to be, the FSS used to be an extra device in your thing, but now it's integrated into every ship. So you don't have to worry about losing it or whatever. But DSS, on the other hand, is a module. So let's get out of here. Yeah, confirm. I didn't change anything. Okay, back to game. Resume. Okay. So let's just point ourselves into dead space here. Okay. Let's look at the HUD. And I have my cursor. Come on, where's my cursor? Doink, doink. Okay, I don't. You don't have a cursor quite in the thing. Okay, let's look at the bottom of the HUD. Going from left to right. Okay? We're not going to talk about the upper part above the HUD, the dash, in a moment. So on the very far left, you have an information panel. It usually is, your location, your possible target, right? For right now, it says Malaysian Terminal. The next one over is the little hollow picture of the destination. It could look like a planet. It could look like a star system. It could look like a station like it is right now. Okay? Then we go over and we get to the centerpiece. Now, on the left upper, there's a little round circle with a white dot. Okay? That white dot is like your little targeting radar. So, if I go like this and I move the white dot into the center, guess what? I'm pointing at the station. Right? Or I'm pointing at whatever I'm targeting. If I don't target something like at all, yeah, see, now I'm not pointed at the targeting the station anymore. It's changed from that green color, which means it's a friendly station to me, to that vague gray color, gray-white color, which means I have it in my list of targets, but it's not actively being really targeted. Now, when you look at that white dot in the center now, it's a circle with a hole in the center. That means the thing is to your rear. Every time you see that, right, it's behind you, not in front of you. Okay. Now, curving around the left side of the centerpiece, there's that 30% and a little thing that looks like flames beside it. That's your temperature. You do not want to get this temperature too high. If you do, you'll melt. Now, you can do it for a short period of time, and there is a tool in here called a heat sink. And if you have that module equipped in a hotkey program, you can, if you get too hot, let's say 130%, 140%, whatever, you can do an eject of the heat sink and quickly drop down. Okay? But you only get like 2 or 3 heat sink shots. So it's like if you're in a dire emergency and you need to dump heat, that's when you dump heat with that tool if you need to. And it usually doesn't occur on most things you do. If you fly too close to a sun, yeah, you're going to melt. If you're in Thargoid combat, and depending on the weapons you have in that, and Thargoids tend to overheat you. So, yeah, you can melt there, right? But otherwise, for most part, no. You will rarely use the heat, the thing to shoot out the heat crap. Heat sink or whatever. Now, they have a little scale down there that shows a little round bar. I've never seen this actually move. So on the left side, there's that yellow going up into the orange with a little set of lines on it. Never seen that move. I'm not even sure what the heck that actually does. It's like a feature in the HUD that doesn't do anything. Now across the bottom, you see that all the little lines with the one green bar and on the left? I've never seen that move either. I'm not even sure what it actually does. But our most important set of bars on the right side, where it has a 0 at the top, a middle section that's blue, big long red, and a little yellow, that's our throttle. So there's a little throttle line there. You can see it. And as you throttle forward, it starts filling in those little chevrons. The ideal place you want to be for maneuvering around is right in the center of the blue. That is when you're most responsive on turning or, rolling, pitching, anything, right? If you slam the throttle all the way to the front, yes, you will go fast, right? But it'll be hard to turn. You'll find turning is very slow. So, like so. Now, if I put this thing back in the blue, turning's a lot quicker. Okay? Now, when you're way up there, too, or even in the blue, you can hit your thrust button, that, and go into oomph mode, right? Now, I mentioned the little thing on the top of the joystick is an 8-button position thing. Well, 4 of the positions are basically programmed for the little pip display that's on the right. The one that says System, Engine, Weapon, Resist. Now that's reset, actually. So if you pull that little joystick down, it balances out the system, engine, and weapons power. If you push it up, you get 1 pip in engine, you lose pips in system and weapon. Actually, half a pip. Notice that they're still there, but they're kind of an orangey color instead of yellow. If I go one more time, you've lost the full halves. If you swing to the right, I just gave weapons an extra pip, and system only has half a pip. Now it has 3 pips, engines has 3 pips. Weapons has 4 pips, engines have 2. Need to reset everything back to normal, you pull down again. Now, between the two, the throttle indicator and the pips, we have our shields, basically. So those 3 blue lines indicate your shields, right? 100% is your hull integrity. Like how, if you're getting damaged, let's say you lose all your shields, that will start going down. It's a good idea if you also need more shields. Not that this increases shields by putting it all in system. What it does is it speeds up the recharge time and stuff of the shields. So, yes, it makes them stronger. If you're mining and you do explode an asteroid, yeah, having this sort of setting on asteroid mining where the system's at nothing and you're too close to an asteroid, it'll right away knock your shields out and damage you if you're too close. So it's always a good idea to, when you need, make sure that shields stay up, you're on that. And if you're fighting, you're going to have to balance between when you need weapons, when you need to get the shields working faster. And you're going to be constantly messing with this. Okay. The last little screen on the right, it says fuel, mass lock, landing gear, cargo scoop, and that little fritzy thing at the top. So that little fritzy thing at the top is like what you're radiating out into space. So there is a mode in this game where you can put your ship into stealth mode. And I'm just going to get the keystroke for that from my Chrome thing. Let's see, cargo landing, turning, night, ship, heat sink, steps, this side, exit, silent running. So if I go like this, see the words come up, silent running? You're now kind of stealthed. So you kind of can avoid scanning and stuff like that. They won't kind of notice you kind of slide on by. But you pay a penalty. Look at the heat climbing. You're not dumping heat. So you can only stealth for so long. But if you have illegal cargo and you need to sneak it into the station, guess what? This is the way you do it. Apparently you turn this on, you can sneak into the station, and and you can empty out your cargo. And it's kind of weird. You can request, see my Shields were taken down also to be stealthy. Now they're recharging again. Okay. Yeah, apparently, from what I watched, you can actually request docking requests, then go into stealth mode, and sneak by the station scanner so you can get that illegal cargo in there. Yeah, so if you want to be a smuggler, that's what you need to know. Okay, so what else? Okay. We have the two blue bars that you're seeing. Okay, they represent the firing groups. Now, firing groups, I have a button on the side of my throttle that toggles one of 4 windows. So if I pull it toward me, I get window 1, which is this one, the navigation transaction stuff. So I toggle the little button behind my throttle, the little big bar. I cycle through all these. Now, this menu is not mouse driven, so you have to learn to use the little toggle on the top of your joystick. Doink, doink, doink. Over, doink, doink, doink. This sort of idea. Okay? Same with transactions. Doink to get over to the menu over there. Down, down, down. I have nothing. I have that quest. Boink, over. Contacts. Okay? And later, that target thing will light up when you're actually fighting. Although I think this is a non-intuitive way of doing it, because to bring this up distracts you from the combat. It moves you your screen, your thing over. So the next one we have is, if we push it up, we have the chat window. As you can see in this chat window, there was a pirate. He went after me. I had no cargo. He was pissed off. He ran away sad and depressed because I had nothing. All right. The other 2 comments you can see are people trying to sneak into the station or whatever for some reason, and they got caught. Whoops. Sorry about that. In order to close one of these windows, you have to re-click it again. So I sometimes have a bad habit of clicking for another window and end up opening another one. Then I want to go back and I get flip-flopped. So... And this little button here, too, is not really up, straight up. It's more like this, at a 45-degree angle up. It's relative to the throttle, not relative to our frame reference, basically. So, again, if you want to cycle across the top thing on the back of the throttle, so these are all messages. I should get around to clearing most of them. Any invites, any notable things, squadron feed. Squadrons are basically, what do they call them? Guilds, groups, things you join, everyone has fun together. Those are all the different text things. Ooh, comms profanity filter. I think I'll turn that off. We have to have profanity. Auto enable wing voice comms voice. So my understanding, there is a voice system in here. I've never used it. Okay, so that's number 2. Then we have, whoops, not 1. There. This guy here will have usually just the helm at first. But later, when you have the SRV, or the external vehicle, or you have fighter bays, this will all be in here. Again, you just move the button on the top of the joystick. You do this with the back of the throttle button. Right? I have no crew in this ship. I'm such a solo person. Right? And last menu is the big one. You'll start here. This is where you can get access to extra information, the engineering list, what your rep is. So you can see here that I'm at Tycoon level on the trade. I'm at Pioneer on the Explorer. Yes, my combat is mostly harmless, right? These are all your modules. Now, when you're doing combat, right, there's a thing. You don't need certain modules turned on. You can turn them all off and save the power and stuff so that you'll have more for when you're fighting. that sort of thing. So you can, yeah, you can eliminate some of this stuff, right? So if you're fighting, you don't need the fuel scoop, right? You don't need the cargo hatch, right? Blah blah blah. So this guy here is your fire groups. This is what was referenced on the screen there with those blue bars. You can create more than one fire group of everything. So this machine, this ship, I have combat, and I use it for exploring, and I use it for getting engineering stuff. That's why there's the SRV in the planetary hangar or whatever thing. So I've told it that off button 1, I want my lasers. Off button 2, I want my multi-cannons. Right? Nothing else. Then I went over and I said in group B, right? Let's try that again. There we go. I wanted the frameshift Scanwick and the kill warrant scanners on my second fire group. Then on my third one, I wanted the discovery scanner and the detailed surface scanner. And last group, frameshift indicator. I haven't tried this yet. I haven't learned how to use it yet. Okay. Ship, you get to see what state's thing on. My night vision's on. Now it's off. Data. Right? Flight assistance. This is all the stuff that helps you. So I do have technically rotational correction on. Now, they changed Super Cruise a little bit. So if we go into here, they now added auto throttle. It used to be mostly manual throttle, meaning that once you move the throttle up into the blue region to engage Super Cruise, and then it was up to you to back off on Super Cruise. Now, or it would take over and it would slowly back you out. I think that was. But in this mode, auto throttle, you don't have the throttle on anywhere. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Just let Super Cruise do its job, and it will exit you at the end point correctly. Except for planets. We got to talk about that. Your inventory. Now, you really have two types of inventory. Inventory number 1 is real inventory. You see none in here. That's why the pirates are all pissed at me, because I carry nothing in my cargo when I don't need to. The other inventory here is this stuff. These are all engineering parts for doing engineering things. Okay? So you can see there's all this different stuff in here. There is a limit on how much you can have of these, but it doesn't count toward, I think, mass or anything like that. The next one down is data. This is the other type of cargo you're going to really carry. And nice thing about data is they load it into your computer as a task to do. Let's say, transfer this data to this XYZ place, right? You don't ever lose it. You can blow your ship up, you get back to a station, you use insurance, you buy a new one. Again, replacement. The data is still in your computer. So if you're initially doing money earning and you don't want to get pirates bowling you up out of the water because you're carrying 2 units of bio waste, well, this is the way to do it, is to carry data missions. And they're worth a lot of rep. This here, the synthesis, it uses the materials that you collect to, if you're out in the field and you need, let's say, more seismic charge munitions, right, if you're mining, well, you can make them. There are certain things I haven't found that you can make. So I can make, I'm not sure on the limpets. These ones are collector limpets. There's your heat sinks. You can now make more of them. But you can only have like a 3-shot ammo clip or a 2-shot ammo clip of heat sinks. This is SRV stuff. That one I did not discover till I was racing back to my ship to free fuel and stuff. I didn't realize I could actually do it out in the field. Duh. Right? This stuff here is your overall status. So this is in the system you are in, this is your status. So these are the parties I have status with. Now, increasing status of parties in stations, right, will get you bigger and better missions. That's the really big thing about this. Okay? This is the three main superpower reps. So Federation, Empire, and Alliance. Now, the reason you want to jack up Federation, Empire is because when you get high enough in those, you get newer ships that you can only get. You want that Imperial cutter? Guess what? You got to rank up in Empire. Right? You want that Federation Corvette? Guess what? You got to rank up in a Federation. So as you can see, my rep in Federation is 100%. That's the easy part. It's the ranks that take time. Now, there's some people say, oh, just go out and do this and this. I find that some of these tutorials that tell you and they make it look so easy, they aren't easy. It just takes frickin' time. I have found, though, if you start getting good at mining, you can bring in 50 to 100 million in, diamonds or something like that and sell them and build up a surplus of money. You go to the boards and you find all the ones where it says donate money, donate money. A lot of times anything over 200,000 or whatever, 250,000 credits is 2 pips of rep, 2 pips of influence. And you keep buying all those. That's how I did a lot of the reps so far on Federation, is just buying it. This is just your log, your current finances. I'm not filthy rich. I'm not like these multi-billionaires that have been around for a while. Right? And, I've gotten a new permit. If you want to visit the Sol Star system, which, by the way, is a bit of a disappointment, you need a permit. To get the permit, you need Fed rep up to a certain point. Once you get 100% on the top one, and by that time you're a couple on the bottom one, top being a reputation allied, rank, you will get permits. So I've gotten all these 6 permits so far. I actually, a few days ago when I looked at this, has 5 permits. I think I got Exibor, as that's new. This is the Galnet radio. So you can actually have Galnet talking to you, telling you the latest trends in the industry, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So that's the menus. That's the HUD. So I've programmed my joystick, for example. I can flip into combat mode. I can flip into exploration mode. So blue is explore. Red is orangey is combat. Now in explore mode, I can go and change. So I'm now in fire group number D, fire group number A, fire group number B. So A, if you remember, was technically programmed for only combat. There's no exploration. That's why this is all grayed out. You can see that downstairs. Now if I go to B, you see I had the warrant scanner and the wake scanner tuned in. Primary group C is the D scanner. Now D scanner is the DSS, right? It's for scanning systems, and honking systems. Now whenever you enter a star system, you want to pull your trigger on this and you'll hear a noise. Doing 15 bodies have been found. Now if you enter a system and right above that orange cursor, a little blue line showing up, you've discovered an asteroid belt. You've discovered an asteroid, blah, 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 blah. What it really means is you've just entered a star system you've never mapped. Okay? And let's see. Let's just go somewhere where I haven't been. I don't think I've been to here. No, I have been here because the map comes up. So let's go back. Let's find another one. No, I've been there. Here. We'll plot a route to this one. So you need the throttle up anyway for a system. Now notice the map on the left of the dash is now a solar system. And our little radar has a white dot. So let's center it. And there is our first jump point. Oh, it's complaining because I have things deployed. So there's a button for your hard points to make them appear and disappear. So we need to make sure we don't have them out. So I pulled my little switch upward for hyperdrive. We're going to do a jump. And I haven't been to the system in question. I'm going to, not this one. I think it's 2 hops. We'll find out in a sec here. Now you can't steer off course or anything like that, but you can drive into a sun. And guess what? I did it the first time I was playing. I wasn't paying attention, wasn't sure what to do, and I just had my joystick and I drove into the sun. So I'll be prepared to curve off the sun right away. So this is where we honk a system. Now there's no discoveries coming up, so I've already mapped this system out. Okay. I think I have. So if I pull all the way back and I bring up the system scanner, yes. See, 100%. I've already mapped this one. So our problem here is I picked a system that on the Galaxy map said I didn't, and I don't understand this. I went to a system. Did I hit the hip, or did I end up with something else? I thought I went to a system that I didn't have. Well, see, this is red. System map unavailable. No system data. So let's do the hop again. Let's see if I get it this time. Now, since this is behind me, I can go in either direction. So I'm going to curve a little faster. So the yellow lines you're seeing on the screen are orbit lines. Some people don't play with them. I like them because it gives me a feel for the plane of the solar system, where the planets are going to be. And you can see on the center HUD now, there's a lot of icons showing up. You can see what looks like big balls, they're stars. The little guys are planets. If they're above the plane, they're above you. If they're below the plane, they're below you. So you would have to pitch down or pitch up accordingly. Now, you see those square icons there? Green ones are friendlies. White ones are items like wakes from drives and stuff like that, or items. I don't see one. I see one yellow one by the star, by that white one. That's an unknown person, but he doesn't have his hard points out because he's not a triangle. If he becomes a triangle, then he has his hard points out and he's hunting. You can see on the right side now, I'm very noisy. I'm generating lots of heat, and I stand out like a proverbial sore thumb in the... Yes. So this system here, see, discovered. So we honk it. There's 33 bodies here. This is where you get to do exploration day. So you back off on your throttle. So basically you want to be at their minimum throttle speed, which is really 30 kilometers per second or whatever. So, and when we go into this, the screen, the FSS, you see this is where all the unmapped. Now, first we need a planet to target on. So this is why I like the lines. So I'm going to go find the lines in the solar system. There we go, right there. So if we look, right, that one is being mapped. But right there, Extortion High, unexplored. So if we put our cursor right in there and then turn it on, we're right on the plane. Now, sorry, frogs in my throat. You see those flashes of blue that are occurring? Well, if you're in pure keyboard mode, there'll be a pair of keys that will scroll the bottom radar line. I used to have it mapped to the thing on the throttle, but I moved it to the yaw controls on the joystick. So this, you can see me moving it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find out this gas giant. If I put my line right there, it tells me that. And the little arrows there are telling me it's in that direction. I click this, and I go in the little arrow direction, and I click this. Voila, a gas giant. So I've mapped my first planet. Only a bunch more to go. Now I stay over here because I see a bunch of yellow other blue dots with nothing in them. I know they're ice planets or whatever. So I scroll on down here. Doink, 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 doink. There we go. And I do that. Yep, icy body. Point to another one. Icy body. Point to another one. Down here was one. Yep, right here. Icy body. Okay. So I think I got them all on this one. I don't see any other ones. No, probably not. So now I go back. I follow the orbital line going up the line. You're probably wondering what those dotted circles are. They're signals. We don't care about signals. We're here to map planets. Right here. You can actually see the planets. See the white dots in the center there? Well, we have to find out what they are. So I'm going to go all the way over here. Yeah, it looks like it's a gas giant. So gas giants tend to be all the way on the right. Water worlds are between that orange icon and the blue icon with a 3 under it. They're about in the middle. That 3 is like ice. A little farther down, those gray dots, those are like metallic worlds. The white dot is asteroids. Right? More asteroid types. And I can't remember where, way on the left edge is the signals, but there is the alien signals tend to show up like 2 notches in from the left or so. I don't think I have any aliens here. So you do this enough, you'll get really good practice. Now, there's an app out there. Let me bring up the Chrome again. It's called the Road to Riches. The idea behind the Road to Riches is you follow this route. Here it is. You follow this route and you collect the most money from exploring. But I must warn you, this thing is not accurate. So, for example, they say in Call to A6 Sector RNT, blah, 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 I should find 1 high metal content world, 1 terrain water world. Okay? Now, that's what TWW, there's another marker in here when it is ELW, Earth-like world. Okay? They're worth the most money. But I was first doing this. I hit one of these guys like this. What I found was my largest body of planets. It was like 78 bodies in one system. Well, out of those 78 bodies, they had listed that I would find 2 water worlds and 1 metal world worth mapping. That was not the case. I found 5 water worlds and something like 15 metal worlds to check out. Now, at the time, I didn't do a surface scan of the water worlds, which I lost points on. Now I try to make sure that if I encounter a water world, I always also do a full surface scan of the water world. So while we're here, so you can see some of the signals types, extraction sites, and other stuff like that. There, those dots right there. Those are the moons of the gas giant. So we need to go all the way back over to here. There, like so. Icy body. I see a dot in there. That could be a metal world. No, icy body. Nah, there's another one right there. There is another one down here. And my arrow said there was something up here. Yeah, right there. Now I noticed on the right the locations piece on the HUD. Up in the top right corner, it said scanning and then went away really quick. Sometimes you'll hit a planet where it'll sit there scanning for a long time. Don't stop it. So right here, I think I have another gas giant. Yep. The reason being, you get more money for planets like that have lots of geological resources if you let them scan. So there's our gas giant. But there's our moons.
So we go back to moon. There we go. There. There's another one. There's another one. One down here somewhere. Now, using the joystick to do this, you have to get out of the 3D variant, and this whole sheet is really a 2D sheet. So when you move by default in this thing, when it was programmed for the the DSS, if you moved the joystick forward, you went down on the y-axis. If you brought the joystick back, you went up on the y-axis. I reversed it. I prefer that if I push the joystick forward, I go up. If I pull the joystick down, I go down. So there's an option for this to switch that. So we got another gas giant. And we climb up here. There's something there. So we got 22 out of our 23 bodies. Now, it looks like we might have done this orbital plane completely. So let's switch over to this orbital plane and see what's along this one. Now, what's going to happen here too is you're going to find multiple stars with multiple planetary rings. So by the looks of it, I'm not finding what I want to find. So I'm going to bounce out for a sec, and I'm going to go into the map, the system map. So we have multiple stars here. We can see it. So I got this planet because it says arrival point. It knows what it is, knows what it is, knows what it is. I've done all those. So this one, I've done all its moons. Now, this is something I wish Elite would fix. The stupid pop-up menu should pop up, not on top of planets. So this arrival point, these moons, I've gotten them. This arrival point, unexplored. So here's a gas giant I missed. So I'm going to just flag it. And there it is, right there. So there was a gas giant right there. Every time you're clicking in on this white ring with an outer ring, it's effectively you're going nested. You're going deeper and deeper into it till you find what you're looking for. So we found our gas giant. Now we back out. And we look and see, nope, we back out a little more. So we got a bunch of extraction point. There's some planets. So we go there. Icy body. There's another one here. Okay. Now, see, there we go. Location scanning is going on and on and on. This means this is a geologically rich planet. I'll bet you it's also a landing planet where you could take this SRV and go hunting for that stuff. But if we let it finish, boing, like so, we get more money. Okay, so there's still more here. And there's more here. So another one that's high in geology because it's taking a long time to go. Come on, go. There we go. 48 objects on there. So now we have some more here. And then some more here. You start to get a feel for how the planets are oriented, sometimes how orbiting bodies work. You start to guess, you get this planet here and you see the orbit ring, you know right away there's something in the center, right? And there is actually a set of orbits in here, I think, that are completely bogus. I don't think they would ever actually work correctly. So this is like a planet with a moon. So there's the planet, and there's its moon. But this planet is also, as you can see, in orbit around something else. Now I'm going to back out, and I'm going to go to this set here. So there's a Planet here. Okay. So back out some more. We got 30 of 33. So we're still missing some. Nope. Nope. So I'll go back out to our, whoops, back out to our planet thing. All right. And we look at this one. We've arrived. We map. It's the purple one over here we haven't done yet. So we tag it. And we look at our radar, and it's actually behind us. So I'm going to flip around and go up like so. There, right there. So we scroll on over. It's probably gas giant right there. Yep. 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 Okay, there's our gas giant. By the way, these gas giants are not necessarily always... I cannot figure this out. Humans, gas giant, yeah, right. But you'll sometimes find this is a water gas giant. It has life, or this is an ammonia gas giant. Yeah. Apparently, I'm just checking, see if I have... No. So I have 3130. Okay, there's the spot right there. Things like ammonia are worth money if you scan their planets. I haven't done any really yet. I keep forgetting, actually. But they're apparently worth money. There's another one buried in here. There we go. Downstairs. Right there. And we have them all. Now, as I said, if you go over here, right, that is a different one. So if you go like this, there, signals. That's what they are. Now, if you find the system beacon and you fly really close to it, within 200 meters, right, you can get all the beacon data, and it'll tell you currently at that moment what all these are. Or you can do it this way. So for example, this encoded transmission. There's 25 minutes remaining. It is 1,523 away. Let's go check it out. I'm going to tag it. I don't need this anymore. But there's the encoded emissions. Now, since I have cruise control on here, I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to find my... Oh, I don't have signals turned on. So let's take off settlements, landfalls, and planets, and put on signal sources. That's the one I'm going for. I will tag it with that. So it's around here somewhere. We had like 23 minutes to get there, so... There it is. Oh, actually, we might overshoot this. Unless this poor system can come to a screaming halt. Yes. See all those white dots down there? On the map? I'm going to circle around to bring them up so they're facing me. It looks like some ship blew up. Now, you can try to find the little gray squares in there, targeting, but instead, just go to contacts, flag 1. Now you have one flagged. You'll need your cargo hatch open. And not yet. We're a little far away. 2.1. We need to be a couple hundred meters, basically. Don't worry, this ship is fairly fast, so... You'll find when you first do this, it'll be slow. So we're going to back off here. Yeah, we overshot. That's okay. Now, some people go out here and do collectives. Now, we have a new radar. The blue squares. This is the targeting radar for your cargo. It is not matching what you see on the screen above that yellow dot. So use the yellow dot to get lined up, but do not watch the speed on this. Right? Do not use the yellow to guide yourself, because if you do, you'll miss the cargo every single time. Okay, so this guy's 500 meters away. I'm always of the patient type. I don't try to rush it. I know that if you go too fast on the cargo scoop, it'll just fly right by you and you'll be circling around again and again and again. Now, you don't have to get it in exactly the white square. If you even clip the blue, you'll get the item. So we keep tagging our next one. You can see little angle brackets around the white square of the item that you're actually targeting. That's the one you've got to target for. So we line up on the blue. We put that little round dot down there. And you can see in the inventory screen on the left that that's what we're collecting. This is high density composites. There we go. Got another one. We overshot one. Okay. So there it is. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oops, see? This is what happens when you hit something. It's a case of oops. Yeah, so someone's ship got blown up here. Probably pirates. Who knows? There's another one. It doesn't always say cargo acquired, but you can tell you've done it because the inventory goes up and the amount of items you can select on the pick list for contacts goes down. Oh. There, see? Yeah, I clipped the blue on the side, but I still got the item. Okay, so we have two here. I want to get the next one. I have a tendency always to pitch up and get my items. I'm going a little fast for my usual style. 23 thing. I usually do about 15 to 18. I find I'm most comfortable at that. Believe me, it takes a bit of practice doing this. First time you do this, easily the first 50 times, you'll overshoot, you will fiddle the throttle, everything will happen like that. So this is not bad. We don't want to hit the debris, so we'll roll. As I said before, you're not paying attention to the yellow dot, you're paying attention to the cargo acquired. So we got all our cargo. We close the scoop, we accelerate forward, and we go back into Super Cruise mode. Now, in Super Cruise mode, when we're at 0 speed, or 30 kilometers, we see we finished all our scans. There was no water worlds, right? And there was no metallic worlds, I don't believe. I didn't see any. Oh, wait a minute, upstairs. Yeah. So I could go and scan one of these, for example. In theory, I should get more. So let's go and pick one. And we'll show off the surface scanner. So you've seen the DSS scanner. You've seen honking the system. You've seen finding a signal and collecting the stuff up. That's all for engineering later. So let's see how far away it is. Now, if you don't plan to use Super Cruise, right, you have to pay attention to your throttling. So we'll start out, and the time. See that time down there? We don't want that time to go below 7 seconds. Otherwise, we're rushing too fast. So float it around 10 seconds. And when we're doing planetary scans, we don't have to get right up our nose up to the planet. Even being like a few million away or a light second away is fine. So you jiggle the throttle a little bit to keep your 10 to 7 second window. And you notice you're drifting because your ship is not perfectly lined up. There's no thing to control you to make sure you stay centered on that circle. That's your targeting circle, by the way. I forgot all about that. Now, see these blue lines that are coming up? Think of them as like airline automatic landing guide things they see in the cockpits. It's telling you that if you follow the dead center of these dots, these circles, you'll hit a planet. And yes, you can hit a planet. You won't really hit it. You'll just slow down at a super cruise and be stuck in the gravitational pull, and you'll have to get yourself out. So what I like to do is when I'm coming close for a planetary scan is I will make sure that that yellow circle is about 50% of the planet. Like so. Now we're ready to actually scan a planet. So it's mapped on my other map, surface scanner, see? It says it's blue. I'm within distance. Now I want to make sure that I'm centered on this. Now this part is the tricky part for people. So what we have here is a big blue circle, a little blue circle with 4 dits in it, and your dead center thing. So they're going to give you 4 probes. They're saying that for an efficiency rating, you should only require 4 probes to scan this planet. You have an infinite number of probes. But if you want to get a bonus on this, you want to do it in 4. So I will shoot 1 probe dead center, like so. Now, if we move our circle, see that white line? We want to line it like there. 1. And then at the 120 degree mark on the other side. 1. And off to north. Right? About there. 1. Now I like to look at the rear of the planet. So this is the front of the planet. We got most of it. Now we're going to look at the rear of the planet. We got it already. I probably didn't even need all 4 probes. Yeah. This is a very small planet. This is like Mercury. Oh yeah, definitely. I could probably gotten this done on 2. Now if you want to get the center of the backside of a planet, right? So we know that this does like a quarter section around and the other one. So basically you saw the 3 spews out. If you move this out to like that, right? Well, you will actually ping the backside. This will ping like a quarter section wrapped around type idea, a third section wrapped around. This will be almost on the front side, right? So we can do another one. Let's do another one. So we exit our full screen system, the planet scanner. Let's go find another planet. So I flagged another planet to find, and it's showing me it's in that direction. There. Not that far away. So 33 light seconds away. So let's go and do another one. Now time is speeding up because we're accelerating. We're away from the gravitational pull of the other planet, basically. So now we're not limited by mass pulling on us. Now I could go like this to the engines and improve the engines a little bit. You can see in our center area, there's a bunch of whites. That yellow that's coming up behind me, another yellow coming up behind me, right? They're not armed because they don't look like triangles. We need a little more acceleration here. Those whites are probably what that's called wake trails. Something you, okay, so I'm going too fast now. I need to slow down a little bit. Yeah. Pay attention to what you're doing, William. So we have another planet. Now the blue rings come up, so we're pretty well centered on it. That orange thing you see on the upper 11 o'clock, that's a ship exiting. Oh, we're going way, way, way too fast. Slow down a bit. So there's actually 2 planets here. That's a moon. Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow. Now this ought to be interesting. So I'm going to... It's not a very big planet by the looks of it. I bet you this is a 4 probe for efficiency planet. So let's have a look. Yep, 4 probes. So we fire the first one in the center. So let's find our center. It's about there anyway. So we see that we go already 20, 30, 40, 50, half. So if we can ping the backside, so we know that this will do like a third right there. And we want to ping the backside, so probably about there. And we'll look at the backside. We'll fire a shot and see what happens. So this is going to curve around the planet and plop itself on the rear. We're looking at the rear of the planet. You just can't see it very well. See, front, back. Going to hit any moment. There. 2 shots. We did it. We hit our efficiency target bonus. And we, whoops, I didn't mean to. Yeah, we set a probe. Hit the wrong button. Exiting planetary full scan. Okay. Do I need to do another one? Well, let's do this moon, just for the heck of it. Right? Let's see what happens if we hit the moon. Yeah. So we need to hit the backside of the moon. So doink, 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 doink. Something like that. Let's find out. You have to hit 80% of a map to complete it. You do not have to get to 100%. There it goes. Surface down completed. Efficiency target bonus again. There you go. I've scanned like 3 planets for you. That's how you do it. So 1 in the center. For these guys, there are like 4 probes, 5 probes, 6 probes, 7 probes, maybe even 8. When you get to the point where you get lots of probes, they say like 12 probes, that's like scanning a gas giant. And that takes a little planning. And that's where you really have to learn how to place these things on the back side. Now, on the left side, there's a mass thing. I'm pretty sure that deals with how the probes loop around the planet. So if you get a mass where the white and the blue are like lined up dead center, that's like 1G, I believe. And I haven't quite figured everything out on that one, but it'll help you plan where when you launch from like this here. Do I launch from here? Do I launch from here? Do I launch from here? Type idea. But Exit. Okay, what else we got here? Access extensions. Okay. There is some software that you can run to integrate Elite and Dangerous with some pretty big websites of data. I mean, there's literally, this place has billions of stars. So, and there's only a fraction mapped out. Let's have a look at the galactic map. Now we're kind of zoomed in on this galactic map, so we're going to zoom out. That is what they refer to as the bubble. If we go here, power play, for example. So remember those factions, Federal, Imperial? Well, there you go. You can see different ones, right? Who owns. This is supposed to be some end game thing where people can control. Now, when you're moving the map, joystick, get you this way. Twist turns you around. But I've got the mouse's wheel rotated to in and out zoom. So like so. Now, when you see a star that's green, that's where it's controlled by. You see a star that's like red, that's that guy, right? In the regular map, this actually determines whether a system is, so government here is Confederacy, right? This little red guy here, for example, technically this is an anarchy system. And what you can do here, you go to here in your galactic map, and see the high, medium, low security. Turn it off. You apply these things to the map. Now all these systems you are left with, they're all anarchy systems. They're free-for-alls, basically. Not in the sense you'll get personally attacked or anything like that. In the sense that there's no cops. Tends to be no cops. So if you want to, for example, find pirates to kill that you don't care what the faction they belong to or anything like that, you can find an anarchy star, find an extraction point, for example, and there'll always be pirate or whatever ships around there. It's a free-for-all. But if you're in a system that's a high security instead of anarchy, right? And you target the wrong thing and you don't scan them first, see if they have a warrant or anything like that, you can get penalized. Credits charged against you for being a naughty person. Right? So you want to watch out. You can control the stars by looking at the population too. You can say minimum population, for example, has to be that. Right? If you do that, it starts thinning out. Yeah, so see, a population of that, those are the only stars that actually have people. So like this guy here, for example, 21,000 probably people in there, right? Or this guy here, 2,000 people. But I've never been there because you can see by my map, the solar system's red. Now, if I hit the home key on the keyboard, I will go back to the system I'm actually in. Right there. As you see, there's no dot because I've told it not to filter out everything else. So I'm in a blue system, a medium security system at the moment, with 122,000. Feudal government. But my solar system is white now because I've mapped it all. I could bookmark. That's what the little white chevron-like thingy up here is. Right? Or down here. You can also flip this over to realistic mode. Then none of the political allegiances or anything like that are shown on here. But these blue things here, for example, are my bookmarks. If I go over here to this, where I'm living, This guy here with the purple, that's an engineer. This is where I have ships. So Irula, that's my base there. Right. I've been all the way out to here, and here, and here. You can see. So this guy right here, I believe this federal cluster here. Yeah, this federal cluster here is where you start out in. I can't remember which one you're in by default, but I know you start out in here. And I've gone to places like here and here because I've marked them because they've got interesting stuff. So here, all my bookmarks so far. So now in the planetary map, I didn't show you this. You can do stunts like this. So this is something else I never discovered without doing a lot of reading. This blue line around a planet is a landable planet. If it has this little spikes on it, there's a base there. So if we click this planet and then we zoom in, and we can turn the planet somewhere around on here, there it is, right, is a base belonging to the Empire. No, Darth Vader's home is not here, if you're asking. But you get the idea. So if it has these little spikes, we got a base or more on it. It's landable. These guys here are space stations that are open to space, basically. They're just platforms hooked together in space. They're the small ones. Let us go back to home. I'm going to go book a trip to home here. Not local bookmarks, sorry. Yeah, you can bookmark within the planet system too. I've never really done that. I've only booked star systems. So I want this guy here, and I want to plot a route. Well, luckily, it's 2 hops, you can see. Now, if I had Guardian Tech and I had superly boosted FSDs and all the other rotten stuff that people seem to have, I could probably have done that hop in 1. But it still requires fuel. Now, if you look at my fuel thing on the right side, notice it's about 1/3 down. So we're going to make a jump over here. And I'm going to show you another thing that they don't really teach you well. That is fuel scooping. So if you never want to ever get stuck in the star system and you have to call the fuel rats or whatever to bail you out, right, which could take for a while, you carry a fuel scoop, even the smallest fuel scoop. It might take forever to scoop the fuel, but you will fill up your gas tank again. Actually, it's hydrogen, but hey, who's complaining? So when you come to a star like this, main sequence, they're all fuelable. So what I usually do is I fly upside down above the star, and the little white yellow ring there that indicates the gravitational area of the star, I just keep it at the top of my screen. As you can observe, the heat stays pretty steady, but we're busy fueling up. So I let the line get a little too low, so I went to 65 on the thermal. But most of my fuel is almost full. I have a really good fuel scoop on this ship. So there, we're full because it says fuel at 0%. We don't have to fuel anymore. My gas tank's full again. Now, I'm going to honk this system because that's a habit you should develop. And I go like this, and I've mapped, see, 100%. So I'm ready to go to the next star system, which is call 285 section RYY blah 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 blah. Yes, star names are very I don't know. There's a thing on the forum on Elite describing how they came up with these stupid names. But you will find stars that we know of, like Proxima and Alpha Centauri and stuff. They're actually called that. It's these oddball ones in the old catalog that are just numbers in the actual NGC catalogs and stuff like that that are got these names. So, honk the system. This system only has its star. So, it's an empty system. And there's our home system. So, another jump. Now, this ship is pretty greedy on fuel. You can see that 2.34/H. Right? It's not the most efficient jumper. And it'll only get worse. From what I've seen, you get a Guardian souped up FSD that lets you jump like 80 light years, and you'll go through a ton of fuel quick. So this system is my home system. I already know it. Let us look at... we'll just slow down here for a sec. Let's go look at the beacon. Right there. So the beacon's around here somewhere. There it is. Now it's on the other side of the sun, and it's... So all these identified signal sources, we want to... In a conflict zone... Yeah, we need to get around the sun here. Our beacon's on the other side of the star. There we go. Now, you're going to have to come out of super speed or whatever in order to super cruise, in order to use the beacon. I believe I've yet not been successful, super cruising up to the beacon and just holding it there. You can't, because you're going 30 kilometers a second there. So I can see two rectangles below me on the map, one above me. I could be running into a pirate. I see a new contact already. So when it tells you can exit Super Cruise, it's usually just below 1 million meters. Yeah, you can disengage now. So we're about it. There's a ship that was visiting the beacon. So I just overshot the beacon. Of course. So the beacon's 430 meters. Let's get closer. It should come up in our information when we get below 200. It should start scanning the beacon. This is the problem I have with this. I'm still not 100 understanding this. So we can go to our contacts. I think it's... Did I have signals turned on? Let's go turn on... Yeah, I do have signals turned on. So there's the nav beacon, transit contacts. See, I think the filters thing doesn't always work. You sometimes have problems with it. So let's say turn things on again. Points of interest. Okay. Yeah, see, I'm missing what the signals are. Let's go closer to the beacon, see how close we have to get. Now, if we turn on night vision, do I have it on? Now I have it on because you can see the ship in the distance. Well, there's a nav beacon somewhere around here. Sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't. It's a pretty small item. But I can't see it, so I'm going to just go back into Super Cruise mode for a sec. And we're going to check if we have signals in the system. Okay, so we're in Super Cruise. We go into this mode. Nope, I need to honk the system. So let's go, yeah, okay, so we go all the way down to here. Do I get my signals fine? Yeah, unidentified signal source. So I am streaming away from the beacon at, let's just go back toward the beacon again. So this is a piece I don't understand enough, and no one talks about this. Oh, just go to the beacon. Oh, just go to the beacon. Do what with the damn beacon? At first I thought you actually had to scan it. Oh yes, we're such a tourist spot with a liner. Let's see what happens after I honk the system that I get the beacon data. Let's find out. Looking to my left to see what happens when I cross it. There we go. Now I'm scanning the beacon. Scanning, 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 scanning. Oh, there's our beacon. Okay, we've scanned the beacon. Now we go into here. And all those signals, see, they now become conflict, Cooper, conflict, conflict, conflict. Yeah, see, they all become visible now as not. And if I went to sing it, they would all be identified. But this does not last because they time out and a new signal appears. And you have to go perpetually back. Now, you can see on the map on my real radar, there's a flickering there, right? They're right on the edge of your scanner. And I can see what looks like the cops handling some, oh, there they go. Look at the bottom set. Some are green, some are yellow. And you see triangles on some. Well, those mean they have their hard points out and they're willing to attack. If we go like this up to, there's a, somewhere over here. There. See that thing flying through the screen? There we go. Mostly harmless, scanning. Clean. So in this system, it's not a good idea to attack these. Now that white square right there, that was our nav beacon. And I want to clear the target lock on it. So where's our nav beacon? Dun dun. There, I just saw it. So we're going to instead I'm going to tag Anderson Orbital. There. Okay. Now, if I don't get into Super Cruise mode, I will take greater than 1 year to get there. Okay. So we collected items from a signal out in the system. Now there's another type of signals you want to collect for your engineering. And the best way to do this one is just around a station. You just sit outside the station. This is where you have to have a wake scanner, and you scan wakes. You will need that data. Now, the more distance you can get on your wake scanner, the better, because then you don't have to crawl right up to the thing, and that's the problem. So my wake scanner has, I think, a 4-kilometer range. Oh, not good, not good. I'm going to run into that thing. I'm not paying attention. There we go. Boink. Yes. Let's loop back. They refer to this as the loop of shame, LOS. But I refer to it as distraction loop. I screwed up. I was not paying attention. If I used cruise control, I wouldn't have had that issue. But when you're mining, that's not such a bad thing. Because if you're carrying a load of diamonds or whatever and you want to avoid the pirates, you don't aim directly for the station. You wiggle woggle all over the screen, working your way toward the station. There's a note. If something is behind a planet, you're going to get a dotted line around the targeting circle when you get close. So you better not aim for the center. You have to aim for the edge and circle around the planet. So our space station is on the day side of the planet at the moment. So we don't make sure we don't cross the yellow line, because otherwise they'll try to think we want to land on the planet. And I'm not sure if this planet has landing capability. I would have to check this planetary maps. Yeah, so I'm slow at the moment because the planetary's gravitational pull is slowing me down. Some people have used planets to slingshot slow them down from high speed. If you can time it right and you can clip the planet, you can bring yourself extremely down slow without actually exiting supercruise. You just end up dumping a lot of velocity really quickly. But it's tricky because you come too close and it feels that you're has to deal an emergency stop, you'll be boing right dead in space right there. Whoops. Let's see. Come on. There. As soon as this is free to disengage, you can disengage. At first I thought you had to get a few 100 kilometers, but no. As soon as you cross that 1 million kilometer mark, or 1 million meter mark, and when you want to enter the station, getting within 7.5 clicks is all you need. And then you have to request docking credits. Like so. And then you just leave your hands off the thing, because I have the auto lander. I will let it do all the work. Okay. I just want to get any repairs done or anything like that. And then we'll pop out for a few minutes and do some signal scanning. Wake scanning, actually. Yeah, I don't think I have any transactions to do, no. Transactions is where you'll see your list of quests, so to speak. Do this, do that, move this, move that, whatever. In my case, it's mostly data, so it's, data transfer. They do it so efficiently. I can waste like 3-4 minutes trying to get landed. So let's dock. We got fuel. Now this is where I check the mission board every time I come in, just to see what's available. I'm actually after money. So I go like this. There's a this mechanical scrap, for example, right here, is actually engineering parts. This is worth doing a data. This security firmware patch, yeah, I'll take this because this is grade 4 rarity. So I'll add that into there. What else we got here? Specialized legacy firmware, building fabricators, exceptional scrambled data. We'll show you how you get that actually. Okay, so this guy here is feds. He has lots of money ones. So I have lots of money. So I'll accept. I will accept. I will accept. I will accept. I will accept. So I have all these money ones. So I will pay it off. Now I don't need to see the screen display itself. So I'm going to only do the last one. This is like pressing Yaha, next, next, next on a menu. Okay, so we'll do the last one. And we'll let it roll this time. So you can see I'm allied with reputation, superpower reputation. My influence is good. Okay. Now, if I look back over here and I go to status, and I go to this one here, so I'm 57% on lieutenant. So let's find another one in here with money. I think is there any more money ones? We'll find out in a sec here. So it says donate 200,000 to the cause, right? For example, you can see it's a rep +1 +1. That's actually like adding 1 point to that percentage there. Is this guy the dictator? No, it's the democracy. I'll take it. See, 2 points, that's a lot. 3 is a lot. 4 is extremely off. Sometimes you'll see some in here that are like 5 pluses behind it. Well, like this one here. Rep. Plus. Right? Well, when you get this chain in here like this, right? It's an add-on mission, a supplemental. Right? And let's see. They recommend elite in here. Most likely what will happen if I do this one is I'll get attacked. Not that I'll lose the data or anything like that. There's no cargo in this one. Right? Now I could take the 1.1 million and the double rep influence. Or I could take the reputation with all those on it. Or I can take this. This is probably the best because you get, more engineering parts. But I'm not going to do that one actually at all. So we are going to go back outside and we're just going to actually scan some wake trails. So this ship is specifically built to do exploration, gather engineering parts, land on a planet, do the SRV scanning. Mining. For more engineering parts. And she has muscle. So if I'm doing my exploring or any of this and something happens, like some pesky little person comes along and wants to, "Oh, give me your cargo," I will beat the hell out of them. Well, I'll try to beat the hell out of them. Except it doesn't always work. Now, get practice scanning. Oh, look, surge. This is actually good. Surge detected means he's about to make the jump. He's going to jump soon. Either super cruise or hyper. Nope. He's not making the jump now. Yeah. Well, anyway, see the white? We want the white. So if we bring the white up like this, and we look, we're going to come right there. There's a wake. So I need my wake scanner. Right there. So once you scan something, it'll change in title. Like so. Now, I've noticed not all the time on the info screen does it tell you what you get. So we're done with that white. There's another white going the other direction. So let's go and find that one. Right there. Now that's 8 kilometers, so we need to catch up to it. I need to be 4 clicks below. So 7 clicks. 6 clicks. 5. So I can right now start decelerating because as soon as I get below 4 clicks, it's going to go like that. You don't want to overshoot these, then you have to turn around and try to scan again. There's a limited amount of time you can scan these. That's why there's engineering to scanners to speed them up. But there, up there, blue, collected, encoded, eccentric hyperspace trajectories. Okay, so we got something. Right? I don't need that one anymore. Well, there's another one over there. And this is all you do for a while. You just sit around a station. Right? And you can tell when you've done one that you've done before. Let's see. See around there. So this guy here is on the other side of the station. Oh, he's disappeared already. So that's why I say these things will fade out. Whoop. There he is. Yeah, 7 clicks. I haven't done this one because it still says high energy FSD wake. But we need to get closer. Start decelerating. Crack the 4 click mark. Start scanning. There you go. Anomalous FSD telemetry. We don't need that one anymore. So all those greens are probably cops, guards. This yellow, for example, let's see there. That dolphin. And let's take some more ships here. Yeah, there. See? That's a authority vessels. You can tell because there's usually pairs or triplets of them. Yeah, a wing. There's a white over there. So someone did an exit here. We just need to be a little bit ahead. There we go. A station like this is a really good station because there's lots of traffic all the time. There we go. Atypical disrupted. That's fine. So you get the idea. I'm going to dock, and this will end this part of this video. And later we will do more. Oh, cancel docking. Okay. So, again, let the auto thing do its job. So, this will be the end of this, and I'm going to do some more introductory type things. I have a combat one I want to go through a little bit, and a mining one next, actually, is the big one I want to show. Because I think some of the mining tutorials that are out there assume a lot more skill than starters people actually have.
and you'll get frustrated because you won't find the asteroid in question, or you won't find this. And we're going to go through that a little bit, right? I think there is two approaches to the whole thing, and I think the approach they're all doing is a case of frustration waiting to happen. Okay, this is the end.